Hello everyone, you're listening to the Eiffel Tower podcast. Why am I whispering? Well, because today we're going to be sharing a lot of secrets. This is an episode about hidden bars in Paris. This is a sort of a dive back into an episode that I've done before, but as you're going to hear, the bar scene has changed a lot. Lots of new exciting places have opened, and Forrest Collins, the cocktail queen, is here to spill the beans on the best of these speakeasies. Now, a few things to get into before we start. First, put away the pen, put away the pencil, don't take notes. I've written down all the addresses, all the names, all the website links. It's all there on the website, theeiffeltower.com. So you don't need to go searching for these places. It's there for you. The other note, if you want to find more from our guest, Forrest Collins is her name and 52 Martinis is her game. She has a website. She has social media. She has a podcast as well. 52 Martinis. And she's a friend of the show. We'll talk about that during the episode. The other thing I want to address is that today, December 6th, 2021, marks 5 years since the Eiffel Tower podcast started. And what better way to celebrate than visiting 10 speakeasy bars, even if only via conversation. There'll be another episode soon to mark 5 years and 2 million downloads, but today we're going to focus on having the celebratory drink instead. Who better to do with than Forrest Collins? Let's get into the episode. Forrest Collins, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. It's been a long time since we sat down on a microphone.
I know, and I'm really happy to be here.
Is it 4 years? It can't be 4 years.
I would say 4 since we last talked about this very secret topic.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was like season 2 of the Eiffel Tower, early days. And now that it's been going for 5 years, I like the idea of revisiting stories, guests, especially in this case with the story, specifically bars and underground bars, speakeasies, appears to have changed so much.
I feel like it has. I mean, we still they haven't disappeared. People love a secret. But I think that the landscape has changed when it comes to the speakeasy bars in general in Paris.
What do you mean the landscape's changed?
Well, I just think, the things that are more interesting right now are a little bit more hidden, a little bit more under the radar. I think because now there's more choice, there's more options. It's not just that one or two. So it's easier to stay a little bit under the radar. It's not that I'm the one speakeasy in Paris, everybody come here, and you kind of fall victim of your own success.
Or fall victim to the success of our last episode, because we did, and the idea, guys at home, is we're going to get through this list of 10 things, but we're going to intersperse it with chatting. But that list that you and I did, so we did it as a blog post, we did it as a podcast episode, it was very widely shared and read and listened to.
Yes.
And I suspect that you, Forrest Collins, ruined the secret.
Did I ruin it? Yeah. Did I break the speakeasy?
I don't know, maybe. But that's something we should start on, because one of the ones, and I can encourage people to listen to that episode after this one, because there's still a lot of them are still open.
Exactly, and a lot of them are still great. I've been to just a few of them recently, and I still love them.
Well, I want to start with that Lavomatic one.
Yes.
And we won't go into great detail, but essentially laundromat, open a laundromat door, boom, you're in there. The first time I went, amazing. Since I've walked past it again, huge line out the front. Yeah,
so how secret is it, right?
Zero secret.
There's no secrecy to it. Yes.
Yeah. So does that ruin a speakeasy?
I think so. I mean, how much do you want me to give away on this show? Do everything. But do we want to take away their experience of discovering things for themselves?
I think what people can do is, if they are really big fans of discovering things for themselves, is they can turn this bloomin' podcast off right now. They can go to the blog post.
Warning.
Well, they can take the address and go and discover it for themselves. But I feel fairly confident that by the way that you're going to explain these places, they'll go, I like that one. I'm going to go. We can leave a little secret in there.
Of course, we're going to leave a little mystery, but we're gonna direct you to.
But last time I think we were whispering for half the episode.
Maybe.
Maybe we give people a good indication when something particularly secret is coming, and then they can block their ears, put their hands over their ears, unless they're driving. In which case,
and in which case, do not block your ears.
Do not block your ears. Okay, so let's talk about this landscape a little more before we get into it. There's been I don't want to say the C word, but COVID.
Yes.
Has that been, that must have changed places opening? Or
things were opening, things are closing, things were temporarily closed, bars were sort of revamping their offerings. Some of them went quiet and developed some really interesting menus over COVID. For example, Little Red Door, we talked about them on the last episode. Mm-hmm. They're a very popular speakeasy, and they took COVID time and they really went deep and created a new menu, which is now available. Cool. So, but then other ones didn't really, other bars in Paris didn't really make it through. Also, something I did not go to any of these, but I was also aware of actual speakeasies, that I heard about popping up in Paris, that were the illegal kind, like, the ones that inspired these during COVID.
Yeah, so I heard about that too.
Yeah. So, I just wasn't really interested in adding to that.
You're talking about literally the illegal places.
Exactly.
Where they were like, you had to essentially sneak through the lockdown rules to get there, and then you I guess
exactly you sneak through the lockdown rules, and then you go into these like underground basement places. Again, I didn't go to any because I was a rule follower when it came to COVID, and I stayed locked away in the countryside. But there was that going on in Paris. So that was kind of an interesting addition to this conversation about the speakeasies and the hidden bars. Yeah,
restauants too. I remember there was restaurants, and I remember those stories in the news, like some like ministers were caught sneaking in there. I remember they were interviewing the taxi drivers because the taxi drivers were taking them there, and they knew where all these speakeasies were.
Those are the people with the information. But like for me, this is interesting because people love the forbidden, right? They love the exclusive, the forbidden, the secret, the hidden. If they're not supposed to be doing it, they want to do it, which is why people love speakeasies anyway. Even though it's a bit of just a kind of a fantasy, the ones that we talk about, but it's not really, because again, this kind of I think in this changing landscape, I think we have graduated from, we want to pretend we're in a speakeasy so everything doesn't look like a 1920s hidden bar. Now we just appreciate sort of the hidden, the under the radar quality, the have to work a little extra, or the element of surprise about how to get there. So I think that's something interesting too.
I want to sort of, like I said, put the questions between the list, but I'll end the intro on this question. Is, do you think it's important that a speakeasy has an element of fun once you're in there as well?
I think, yes. I think every bar should have an element of fun, whether it's a speakeasy or not. So, I don't think they all need a gimmicky fun. Like, they don't all have to have guys in suspenders and curly mustaches.
It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It helps if it's fun, but I don't need everything to be, like we talked about Lavomatic last time. And when you go in, you're kind of sitting on the chairs look like laundry detergent boxes, and so it kind of actually carries that theme through. And
there's a
that's
swing
fun.
up there too.
There's a swing up there too. Yeah,
a swing's always fun.
Who doesn't want? Every bar should have a swing. Every house should have a swing.
That's true.
But I think yes, every bar should be fun. I don't think every hidden bar or speakeasy needs to carry the whole theme through all the way, because that's sort of like chokes you in gimmick.
I feel like it needs a little bit, because if you get in there and then you just feel like you're in a normal bar.
All right, can I place you in the first... can we talk about the first bar, and you can give me your opinion on if you think this is a fun thing or a...
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you're going to go and you're kind of walking around the Tuileries, and you know how they've got that big Ferris wheel, and it's all pretty, and it's nighttime, and you're walking along the... I guess that's Rue de Rivoli there, and you're in the arcades, and there's the nice hotels.
Oh yeah, Le Maurice.
Exactly. There's not a... Well, if there's a speakeasy in the Le Maurice, I don't know about it.
I didn't find it. I was looking. I was pushing every wall.
Oh yeah, well, it would be pretty fabulous if they had one. But in the same vein, there's the Hotel Normandy, which is a hotel that they're kind of reconstructing now, and that is also on that little Rue de Rivoli. So you go in, and there's a gentleman kind of sitting there in a hallway. And it doesn't really look like your typical hotel entryway. It looks like it's maybe still under construction. But if you ask the nice gentleman at the desk to take you to rehab, he will guide you through the side hallway, and you go through a construction site, and you go to an unmarked door in this construction site. This is literally nobody would ever just stumble across this door. You would not be allowed to back.
Except someone's seeking rehab.
Except somebody seeking rehab, right? Exactly. So he opens the door, and then you descend down this like tiny little spiral staircase, and you are in this really gorgeous hidden bar. It's very pretty. It does kind of have these notes of 1920s. It's dim, it's sexy, it's just really nice. It's got a couple little hidden rooms. It's got one area with a bed that everybody can sit on, or not a bed, but like sort of, it seems like a little separate bedroom. Anyway, so you get down there and sat down and was waiting to order my drink, and I had to wait a little bit because they had to explain the menu to me. And so sometimes I'm like, I'm an adult, I can read. But I waited, and the server came over to explain the menu to my friend and I, and it's CBD cocktails, right? So not all of them, not the full menu, but all the drinks. There's a whole section of the cocktail menu that includes CBD in the cocktail. So
what do you mean CBD?
It's like a pot, right? It's like, it's not THC,
right.
CBD is.
You know how innocent I am. My mind went to Central Business District, and I was like, that doesn't sound very
You were looking
fun.
at me weird, and I was like, okay, I don't think he's understanding.
I was going through all the acronyms I could think of. Okay, so like.
No, so it's this. Not a molecule, but like THC is something that you find in pot that makes you crazy, and so CBD has become a real trend. Like you actually see in Paris now, you see all these CBD shops opening up where you've got the hemp products and oil to make you sleep and to do this and do that and whatever. So the menu features these CBD cocktails. So it might be in there in oil, or it might be infused in one of the ingredients.
This is different.
Yeah, or it might come in like a bell jar where they fill it with smoke with one of these smoking guns.
Whoa.
Lift up the thing and all the smoke, and it does like smell like somebody smoking a big joint next to you.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting because if you have those associations with, I'm not a big pothead or anything, but still, nobody's ever smoking pot around me when they're like tense, right? So I smell that and I think, oh, that just kind of relaxes me because everybody's always relaxed when that smell is around, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Do you think that that's like fun? Do you think that's like a weird gimmick?
I love it. No, I think it's great. I love different. I think I love in Paris. Sure, I love all the people watching on the terraces and blah blah blah. I love all the bars, but I love different. Not just for cocktail bars or for everything. I love when people are trying new things. So I'll be checking that out.
Yeah, it's very cool, and I really liked it. I was there with a girlfriend and I, and we just had a really nice evening there. And the drinks actually also come in really interesting things that you serve them.
So if someone's listening, they're like, "Ooh, CBD is not my thing." Would you say avoid?
No, I would say go, because in fact I misunderstood. I think I was misinformed. But when the first person was giving us the rundown, I thought it was in all of them. But they have a whole section of the menu that doesn't have them. So
and you speak good French, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So teach us how to say to the guy at the door, "I want to go to rehab," in French.
Oh,
so what would you say?
Je veux aller au rehab.
Too fast. Go again.
J'aimerais bien aller au rehab.
There you go, guys.
Right.
That'll get you there.
Right.
But I'm sure you could say it in English as well.
Yeah, you probably could. It's a nice hotel. He probably speaks.
And what is it, like did you say the bellhop? As in like the
it's just sort of a gentleman sitting at a desk, because you walk in and there's no rooms. You can't even tell that the hotel's open.
You know what'd be
so
really funny?
I was like, what's going on? It's kind of weird. But
imagine if someone's listening to this and they were sort of half listening and they go into like Le Maurice Hotel instead and try to check into rehab there.
To go to rehab.
Guys, it was the Hôtel de Normandie. Is that what you said?
Yes, the Hotel Normandie.
Okay,
yes.
well, that's a great one to start. I've got questions in general, but maybe we get through another two. And because I remember I met some Americans who had some questions about getting into these speakeasies, but that'll come.
Okay, that'll come. All right, so another one, I went and checked out a couple. I haven't been to every single bar since post-COVID, but I did go and check out a couple of new ones that I wanted to talk to you about. And so another one I went to that I want to talk about, this one's just a little bit more simple, is you're in Pigalle, you're in Soapy, everybody likes to go there for their bars, and it's fun, and there is a tiny sign on this one. It's a very kind of discreet door that you wouldn't notice, and if you really look up in the upper right hand corner of the door, you'll see a tiny sign that says Yago. They've got no presence really. They've got very minimal presence online. They're very quiet. They're like, when I was doing a little research trying to find out about them before going, nothing to find. So they're sort of hidden online, and and nearly hidden from sight. And you walk in, and it's this really like fun, funky, tiny bar, bright, and with so many places, like so many places in Pigalle. There is a stripper pole there that, they've kind of like left and incorporated into the decor. And then if you step through the sort of side door, you enter into this place it's what, it's Pigalle boudoir style, this sort of, what I love. I mean, it can be a little bit overdone at times, but I love this, like, I'm slipping into the old Pigalle, a romanticized version of the old Pigalle sort of.
Romanticized because it's not sleazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's very clean and very And so and it's just got these cozy little chairs, and you could sit down with your date, and it's very romantic. I think it would be kind of a romantic place to take somebody. Just we're walking down the street. Oh, look, what's this? Open it up, and look, it's very like
nice. Whereabouts is it in Pigalle?
I can't remember. It's around Saint George.
Okay.
It's on Victor Massy. So yeah, there's a lot of bars around there anyway. So if you get there and you don't like it,
a lot of music shops around there too.
There are, there's tons. I don't know why there's so many music shops around there. I used to live around there, and I'd walk by and wonder like. I guess it's just there's different areas for things in the city, but so that's just kind of a low key one. However, they have this, and I don't know why, I didn't ask him, this sort of Japanese theme running through their drinks and their snacks. So it's sort of like wasabi.
And what was the name
flavors.
again?
Yago.
Like with a Y or an I?
Yago.
That could be a Japanese word.
I think it sounds kind of like it, doesn't it?
And there's people at home surely who were thinking, how do you spell Yago? And they were surely thinking, what's the exact address? To which I would respond, there will be a blog post with all the addresses.
Yes.
And we're going to be chased out of Paris for sharing all these addresses.
I know. I will have my cocktail credentials stripped from me immediately as soon as this is published.
I've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to lose. I'm so grateful.
I'm kind of tired of cocktails anyway. Move on to something else.
But I will. If you're listening to this, it will be on the website, all the addresses. So we're not going to get into detail of the addresses and the spelling of the names. Everybody, it'll be on the website. Number 3, and then I've got a question for you.
Okay. So another one. Let's see. Another one I think is interesting. Well, that I actually really like. I think they're all interesting. So you might feel like you want to go get a haircut, a little shave and a haircut, right?
Often.
I mean, like I see so many places. I live kind of in a very residential and staid area of Paris, but even in where I live in the 15th, like you see suddenly these hipster bar shop fronts popping up with so
15th is getting
this
cool.
is not in the 15th. The 15th is getting very cool,
Yeah.
but this is not in the 15th. This is, I have to remember the arrondissement that it's in.
No, you don't. You don't. We'll put it on the blog
Oh,
post.
you're right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so you walk by this barbershop. You go in. You lean back. You get a shave. You get a spiff up. And if you happen to know that if you just walk past through the door at the back of the barbershop, you walk into this really cool kind of old school gentleman's club bar. And you can sidle up to the bar. You can order a martini.
Oh, yeah.
You can have a old fashioned. I really like it for that kind of classic sort of cocktail because it just feels like that. It's got those, like Chesterfield sofas.
Yes.
And not everybody probably is into this. I'm not a smoker, a cigar smoker, but they also have a fumoir back there. And some people, really appreciate a bar with a fumoir. So I'm sharing that information so you can enjoy your cigar and a nice drink in this kind of very old classic bar style that's hidden behind the barber shop. And also for those of you who don't smoke and are turned off by that, don't worry, because I have been in the bar, not in the fumoir part, and you don't, like, the smoke doesn't come out. You don't feel like you're sitting in a fumoir when you're just in the regular part of the bar.
But at nighttime, are there still people getting their hair cut there?
Oh, that's a very good question. I usually go early. But yes, I'm guessing yes, because what are you going to do? You're not going to, like, go into a,
Yeah, but that's what's cool about the Lavomatic that we talked about in the last episode is that I don't know if it seems like it works as a laundromat as well.
Well, I've seen people in there, like, not the one that you open doesn't work as a lot, but the other ones do.
It does take you for a bit of a tumble though, doesn't it?
But that also reminds me, I won't go into it, that also reminds me of another one I'm going to talk about, and wondering, but let's talk about, so let's take we're not going to run through the whole list first, right?
You want to take the question that I had?
Yeah.
So I had some, I wish I could remember who it was, but I met some Americans recently, and they said they'd listened to our episode from 4 years ago, and they wanted to go visit some of the speakeasies. And they said, Oliver, we're kind of shy people. And they go, do you need to be brave to to walk through these doors. And my first reaction was like, I was thinking of the ones, because they picked a few from the list.
Yeah.
And they picked the one that was in the pizzeria and the one that was in the taco place. And this is what I said. I was like, you don't need to be brave to go in. And I said, actually, you do need to be a little brave. You can't, if you're painfully shy of someone telling you off, you might struggle.
Yes, I think that's true. Now, Moonshiner and Candelaria are the ones you're talking about, and I do think you need to be. But you know what? We're helping you right now. Be brave, everybody. Mm-hmm. You are armed with the knowledge now that you need.
It's not just
to not be too shy to try these places.
It's really important. Like, forget speakeasies for a second. Like, if you see an interesting courtyard, like a private-looking courtyard, it's like Parisians don't mind if you go in. Yes, sometimes they do. But 95%
what's the worst they're going to do?
Exactly.
Tell you to go away.
Exactly. They're not going to take your passport, guys. Like,
no.
You've got to have a little bit of courage for Paris.
Yeah, the courage to follow through on your curiosity and go explore and discover something new.
And trust me, when you get home and your friends say, what happened in Paris, if you got a story of getting kicked out of a speakeasy or a courtyard or whatever, that's cool. It's much cooler than say we walked past a speakeasy that we didn't go into.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Have a drink before you go in.
Yeah. And here, what I think cocktail bars can be scary anyway. I mean, I think they can be intimidating, especially, when they're busy and you walk in and I feel very comfortable in them, and I forget sometimes that people who don't go to cocktail bars often, they might just feel intimidated in a normal cocktail bar. What will you have to drink? Oh my God, I don't know. Am I going to order the wrong thing? What's the style here? It's just like, it's full of landmines, but not really. It's just a bar, guys. So, and the worst thing that would ever happen is, somebody will say, get out of here. You're not supposed to go through that door.
Good story.
Yeah.
Good story.
Exactly.
It could be, did I tell you, time is flying, by the way. So,
okay.
Did I tell you last time the story of after visiting the Lavomatic, that a friend of mine invited me to another bar? I can't remember the name of it, and I looked it up, and he was the same guy who'd told me about Lavomatic. Yeah. Right? And he goes, this is the name of the bar, come and meet me. And I look it up online, and I find it's in the 12th arrondissement or something, and I'm out there, I'm a bit late, and when I arrive, it's a laundromat, a huge laundromat that was shut, but the door was ajar. Yeah. And I was like, this guy's he's so cagey, he's invited me to another speakeasy. And I was like, which laundry machine is it? And I went and tried to open about 40, and none of them opened. I was like, hang on, this is really weird. I don't think this is the right place. And he wasn't answering and I was like, he's in here somewhere. And I went out the front. The name of the bar, as he'd said, was above the laundromat. But it turned out that it was an old bar that had turned into it was just a normal laundromat.
It was just laundromat.
He was like 8 arrondissements over on the other side of town at a bar with the same name.
Oh, no.
I was just opening laundry.
Random laundry.
Yeah, I was in a closed laundrette in Paris.
Somebody probably thought you were some weirdo trying to steal laundry.
There's got to be CCTV footage of me in there trying to get into all these machines. So be careful, people, because you might get it wrong as well, like I did.
But again, good story.
Good story, great story.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a couple of kind of quick-fire ones to catch up on the list?
Okay, here's one that I like. It's another just unmarked door one.
Yep.
And so say you're around, you're in the center of Paris, kind of the Odeon area, and really it's just an unmarked door. It's one of these ones where you just have to know. You just open the door and go in. So again, be brave. Mm-hmm. And you walk in, and it's very hard to describe the decor in there. It's very sexy. I think it's kind of sexy, but in a disconcerting way. I've called it sort of Nordic, or also David Lynch a little bit. Oh, wow. I'm making it sound like it's crazy. It's not. It's like a kind of a cabin that David Lynch might imagine in the woods, but it's small.
Whoa, I have to see this.
I don't know.
I can't even know what I'm imagining.
I know. It's just kind of green, and there's wood in there. There's wood paneling. Okay. I've made it sound much more bizarre than it is, but it's very tiny. So it's just this really confidential, under-the-radar address. It's called the Castor Club. Mm-hmm. And it has actually been around for probably nearly 10 years now. And it's one of these bars that's so good, but nobody ever talks about it. Mm-hmm. But and you don't see a sign on the outside. You just go in and you have these really great drinks. So there you go. That's cool.
That was a
quick
good
fire one.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
All right.
So far, I've heard of none of these, by the way.
Oh, good. I was wondering. I was gonna ask. So yeah, if you go have dinner at the Bistro Van des Pyrénées, sorry, it's just like a fun, bustling bistro, good food, whatever. But if you happen to know that you can go up the stairs that are off, just like they're on the side, kind of in the corner, It takes you up to this really cool Belle Epoque inspired space with a little hidden terrace, and just like this really cool, cool kind of Belle Epoque kind of bar thing.
Where are we in town now?
We are in. I think that's in the fourth. Cool. Sorry, it's in the fourth.
In
so
the Marais, nice.
Yeah. So exactly in the Marais, and it's nice. The cocktails there are good. That little area, the little terrace area is good. There's a little private room. It's just like a really cool space, and you wouldn't see it from being in the restaurant. But the restaurant in and of itself is a fun place to go.
Do you have the address written there?
Yeah, I do. It's 25 Rue Beau-Travis.
Oh, I haven't been to that one either.
Yeah.
Did you talk last time about the one where it's also in the Marais on a street being with G, like Crévellier or something like that?
No.
And you got to go through a wardrobe? Do you know that one?
Yeah, I was going to talk about it this time.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah.
I've been to one.
Yeah.
1 out of 7 or something so far.
Yeah, I think that we're talking about the same one. So, oh no. I'll talk to you about that.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Well, I'm thinking about something that's at Place de Vosges.
No?
So,
have I got one that you don't know?
well, the one on
Although this
Rue
could
de
be-
Gravellier is
Yeah.
the one that I was suggesting. That I was like, this one's new. I don't think it's. You're gonna have to tell me about. You tell me about one right now.
Okay,
What's
well,
this
it
one?
could have closed because I went there like 5 years ago. But on that street, there was a restaurant, and a big restaurant. And this is an old memory now for me, but like a big table in the middle, sort of. And if you take the stairs up where there's a toilet, the toilets are upstairs, which is weird when you think about it. Usually
they're always downstairs,
Yeah.
right?
But then there's a wardrobe at the end of the hall, and you open the wardrobe, and like Narnia, the back of the wardrobe leads into this room. And it was so weird because the night that I went there for dinner with a bunch of friends, and they go, "Oh, you going to the toilet? Go through the wardrobe." And I went through the wardrobe. It's like an old, imagine like a country, kind of like the Ritz Hemingway bar, like that kind of feel. And I poked my head in, totally empty, no people. I was like, well, who cares? And then at the end of the night, I went to the toilet again, and poked my head in again. There was like 20 people in there. I was like, party, this is cool.
Was it a place that had a lot of black and white on the wall? I do not know this place. I don't know anything about going into a wardrobe.
I'll check if it's still open online, and if it is, I'll add it to our
Yeah,
blog
do,
post,
because
and I'll
I wanna
obviously
check it out as well.
But there's a good chance it's closed as well.
Okay.
There's a good chance I'm going to lose my cocktail license now as well.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, now what are we going to do? Start talking about coffee or something?
Yeah. Let's see. What else have you got? Do another one and then get a question.
All right. So I am not such a big fan anymore of these kind of like big places like the Hotel Coast and these very like places that have their own soundtracks, etc. And like like the Buddha Bar, for example. I mean, it's kind
I've
of
not been there, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like I've gone through different phases throughout my life here. Wanting to go there really badly 20 years ago, and go in there for this is where we're going to go in the evening, and then like it's kind of like past its sell by date.
No.
But
you're too cool for it now.
I'm not too cool.
Yes,
I mean,
you
lots
are.
of people are too cool for lots of things, but it's
I'm not too cool for anything.
that's not true. I think you're very cool. I'm a little bit like, oh my god, I'm a little nervous just being here.
No, come on.
So, and then like they started having like more cocktail creds, and I'd go back in, and anyway, in and out. And they do have the Buddha that they have in there is huge, ginormous.
Yeah.
Like it's huge, so that it's worth going in there just for that. But anyway, there's so many other things to do that that I don't go there very often, except for like now it's worth kind of going back, because if you go to the right kind of bookshelf space thing on the wall and you press the right one, it opens up a door into a secret bar within the bar.
What's the book? What's the book?
It's not a book that you're touching.
Paris on air.
Yeah, not gonna. Now you got to do some work. But when you get in there, it is a bar within a bar, and the Buddha Bar is huge, right? But this is.
There's a dog outside, but it's okay. I love when there's background noise. This is Paris. It's a French. It's probably a poodle.
Exactly. Yeah, obviously.
Hang on, I've got a bone to pick with you. We were going to do a pub crawl 4 years ago.
I know. Why didn't we ever do that?
I don't know. Oh, COVID maybe.
See, you're too cool for me. That's why I'm so nervous.
Let's go to the Buddha Bar. Let's go do this.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay,
yes,
great.
good.
I think that's a very good plan.
Great.
I'm also open to. We also had an idea of like an international something.
Yeah. You and I are so bad at making plans and not following through on them.
I know. Well, it's because we're so busy and important.
I know. No, but we will go to the Buddha Bar.
Yeah,
That's what we're
definitely.
gonna do.
I think we should do that.
Cool.
I think we should do that.
Yeah, cool.
But it's a cool space, this bar within the bar, and it's kind of this, got this curio cabinet feel to it.
Cool.
So that's also. But here's a tip. God, I just shouldn't be telling all these secrets.
You can give one more tip. Yeah, it's okay.
Really?
Yeah. But this is where cover your ears at home.
Cover your ears if you don't want to know how to get
For
into the
30
bar.
seconds.
You should go to their Instagram account and you look at the weekly riddle. And once you solve the riddle, you have the password to get into the bar.
Do you need that to get into
Yeah,
the bar?
well, in theory, yes. I mean,
I love that. That's good marketing.
Yeah.
They want you on their Instagram as
yeah.
well.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that.
I should do the same thing.
Because I was like, oh, God, I haven't been for so long. It's been pre-COVID since I've been. I'm like, I don't really feel like messing around with this, reading that in French. I felt like just giving, because I do want to go back. I haven't been back for a while. And I was like, I'm just going to call somebody and tell them I'm coming down.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I probably should go through the whole process and, solve the riddle. But you're right. That's great marketing.
Very good marketing.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody who tuned out for 30 seconds. Good luck trying to figure out how to get into that speakeasy.
Yes.
What else have we got on your lovely list?
What else have we got? Okay, so for some reason when you said yours, I was thinking of, there's lots of concept shops in Paris, especially when you're out like around Place de Vosges and kind of cool areas like
Place
that.
de Vosges, for you guys at home who don't know, that's the Marais.
Yeah, I know.
The
I was saying, exactly.
Arcade square.
All the houses
park.
apparently are like geometrically like something perfectly balanced or something. I don't know. I read that in some whatever.
Yeah, if you spin around really quickly, you won't know which direction you're meant to head because it all looks the same.
It all looks the
More
same.
or less.
And there's a Victor Hugo house there.
Oh,
There's
I
all
went
kinds
there.
of
I went
stuff.
there.
That's pretty cool,
it's
actually.
It's just been renovated and they've added some new stuff. There's a new courtyard there.
Oh, I didn't know. I haven't been
Well, it's
to
been
the Victor
closed
house.
for like
Yeah.
a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
So
All right.
worth a visit. He was a very prolific painter. Did you know that?
I think I do recall that. It's been so long since I've been because I went on one of the Journées du Patrimoine. So, it's one of those things where you can get in for free. One of the places that lets you in for free once a year.
I don't know, but I feel like it could be one of those free museums.
Is it always
now.
free?
No, I don't know, but maybe.
I was probably cheated. I waited in line. Sorry, I just waited in line to go someplace I can get in for free with no line all year long.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Who cares? It's worth a visit.
Anyway, it's worth a visit. And after you're finished visiting there, you should go. There's a shop, and now I can't remember the name. I think the shop might have the same name. It's kind of concept shop. They've got books, they've got pajamas, they got all hipster kind of things. And then if you go kind of behind a clothing rack there, you will find a doorway that leads downstairs.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
And you go downstairs and you're in this place. It's very like it's like kind of Technicolor jewel tones and this like kind of funky 70s like designer. I don't know if it's leather or pleather, white sofa that kind of feels a little bit, just like 70s vintage cool. Kind of, but also kind of quirky, like curio stuff. Also a little bit kind of Wes Anderson feel.
Yes.
So it's just kind of this cool bar that's underneath this concept shop.
That is cool.
But it's kind of the kind of place that attracts like all the beautiful people. So I like to go early, right when they open, so I don't have to feel like uncomfortable with all of the really like cool people doing their shopping for their pajamas and their cool books, whatever they're reading.
How are you finding out about all these places?
Well, I just hear things.
What do you mean you hear
I
things?
do, but I mean,
I know it's like you're the expert and like you need to know this stuff, but like, is it people just going, "Hey, Forrest"?
Well, I do. I mean, people do say, "Hey, Forrest," and I also I get invited to places, and sometimes I go, and sometimes like the first time I went to the Buddha, I think it was on an invitation for sort of a kind of a press thing. So you get the whole rundown.
You're lucky because you get press invites that are relevant to you. I get all these press invites for new hotels in London. All the time.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and I don't even think they're real. And I respond. Sometimes I don't know how.
Is it some kind of press equivalent of "Dear Sir, I'm a Nigerian prince"?
Well, I responded to one of them, and it was so irrelevant to what I do. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to come. When? Just tell me when. And they never responded. And I was never going to go. I was just testing them out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you got on your correct list, but I wish I could do the same.
I don't know either, but I'm sure I get a lot of crap too. I mean, I just delete a lot of stuff and. Yeah, but yeah, I find out about them this way. I mean, I actively ask, and when I was at rehab, the bartender was asking me, so do you like kind of speakeasies? Is that your thing? And I was like, yeah. I mean, I think they're interesting and whatever. And so he was asking me, which ones do you know? And I'm like, well, which ones do you know?
Yeah.
And so he was kind of mentioning some to me as well.
It's really intriguing because these places need to survive, so they need to get the word out.
I know.
But then they don't want to get the word out too much, otherwise they're a victim of their own success.
It's a delicate balance, right? How do you do that, really, honestly? I mean, but I do think, it's like this. People hear about it, and then these people can go take their friends with them, and their friends can be surprised and amazed and surprise your friends with your secret knowledge.
Well, I know that, and we can skip over one on your list quickly because I've talked about it on the podcast before briefly, but I know one solution to when they get too popular is to open a new one down the road, and that is what happened with the épicerie, which I believe is on your list, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's the only one. I haven't looked through your list, and it's all been a surprise so far. But
you know that one's, and I know that you know that one. But I couldn't not put it on the list because it is one that we didn't talk about last time, and I think it's interesting. But it's the one that I was thinking. I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, like, there's no point us getting in deep on that one because I talked about it. But it's as I understand, the Lavomatic guys knew they were getting so popular that they opened up one inside a functioning. What did you call it? Not grocery store, but
it is one corner shop. Yeah.
And you go in, you block your ears, everybody.
Yeah.
You go in, you tug on a couscous.
Yeah.
Maybe you call it couscous. Where are you from in the States again?
For Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
You had to think about that.
I know. I was like, I don't know where I'm from anymore.
You're not from Seattle at all. You pull on some couscous and the wall opens up and there's a nice sort of is it like Moroccan-y kind of thing?
It is kind of this Moroccan feel, yeah. But do they really sell stuff there? I mean,
yeah, because when I went there, I bought a Mars bar on the way out.
It's expensive though, the stuff you buy there. I do remember
Mars
that.
Bar.
Yeah, I do feel like what do people think when they go in there? So when you were saying, like, do they do haircuts late at night? That I don't know. Yeah. Does this? I guess this corner shop must be open all the time.
That dude is selling couscous and not much couscous because
more.
But
so do you think just have some couscous under the counter that gives to people?
This dude is the essentially the bouncer and the guy that sells the Mars bars and the Coca-Cola and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that one was a really good one. I found that via a friend, Shelley, her name is. She might be listening, who knows. And on my birthday, one of my birthdays, so regular listeners know that I do bucket lists where I pick things in Paris that I want to do during the whole year. And on one birthday, I had Little Red Door, thanks to your recommendation, Forrest. And on the way back from Little Red Door, my friend said, I was walking with Shelley and Lena, and Shelley said, do you mind if I just grab some couscous or whatever? So we went in there, and it surprised the heck out of me. And so we had a cocktail at the end of the night. Yeah. Perfect speakeasy situation.
Exactly.
The surprise,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the surprise. But it's also one where you have to be a little bit brave because I was in there and I knew what I was going in for. But still, I felt like an idiot, like touching everything on the wall.
And the guy won't help you either.
No.
Shelley didn't help me either.
No.
She was like, so I didn't even know what I was doing. I think she said, grab me some couscous in the end. And so I was like, here, you're... Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So sorry to take one off your list, but that was one that...
Yeah, no, but I'm glad that you did. And I knew that you knew it. I just wanted to roll it in because I think we've gotten, between the last list, I can't remember everything we did off the top of my head, but I did make sure that these weren't the same.
Yeah.
And some of them are close. But between the last one and this one, we've got a real good spread of
this list
what you got going on.
Very good that you're... Have you done
I like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one.
Dare I say better?
I almost feel like it's better because I do. I mean, as we're talking about these other ones, everybody, like Candelaria is not even that hidden anymore because you can go in through the taco shop, but they got a big window on the other side. This is Candelaria in huge letters.
It's so famous now that
you can't hide.
It's not
Where can you hide in spotlights?
It's a whisper hard. It's
it's like a whisper hard. I love that. But I like to think about these bars as sort of hidden bars these days, even more than sort of speakeasies, just because they're just sort of like, they're just not right in your face. And it's, but yeah, this one is not really hidden.
You know what's really cool about this list is that there are so many listeners right now who've not been in Paris for years because of everything.
Yeah.
Who are looking forward to things to do. And you've still got some on your list, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if you've got a few little things. I think there's...
But these people who are so desperate to come back, we're just giving them things to do they never even heard about.
Yeah.
I love it. But we have been talking for 36 minutes, so
let me finish up really quick. So, when the speakeasy craze kind of kicked off, now, God, it's maybe, 15, 20 years ago, it started a lot in New York, and there was places like Milk and Honey where you had to get the password and you had to be invited. And Please Don't Tell. I mean, that's already, the name PDT. But the way you got into that was you go into a different kind of place, like a hot dog shop, and you go into the phone booth and you call, and they let you through the phone booth.
Love it.
Guess what? We have that in Paris now, too.
We don't, do we?
Mobster bar. You go into the bar, but there's a phone booth in the corner. You pick up the phone.
Yes.
You ask if there's any room, and you can go through and go into another little hidden bar behind the bar. So that's just another nice kind of nod to the origins of this like speakeasy revival. So that's the last one I'm going to talk about of these ones that I've been to that are totally fun. But I have one that's like so new I haven't even been there yet.
But where's this? Just for my head.
Oh yeah,
where's
yeah.
Mobster?
Let me get I forget. I'm really bad. I always know it's like over there in the 11th around Oberkampf. It's in the 11th, but I'm really bad with my arrondissement numbers. I'm like, Vosges, is that in the 10th or 11th or 4th? But this is in the 11th.
Okay, cool. Well, the 11th is
there's a lot of
hip
bars
and happening,
there.
isn't it?
Exactly.
It's trendy. I've been calling it trendy for years.
Yeah, it's big, yeah.
And now,
but
do you think
that's too trendy? The 15th is where it's going to be.
Do you actually think so?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. When I started writing about cocktails in 2007, and I was doing it for a while, and then I moved up to Pigalle, and everybody's like, "Why are you moving to Pigalle?" There's like, it's cocktail no man's land. Yeah. It's dead. There's some Irish pubs up there, and that's it. And I said, "Yeah." After I'd been living there for like 2 or 3 years, I'm like, "Look, now this is back when the early days when you had Glass and you had Dirty Dick opening, and you had there's a couple more now that aren't coming. En l'entrée des artistes, these things that like suddenly were like hot bars on the cocktail scene. I'm like, great. And then when I moved to the 15th, everybody's like, why are you moving to the 15th? You're moving to cocktail. And I'm like, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe. But I do think, there's still not a lot of options for cocktails. But 15th, anyway, I'm digressing.
Wait. Where are you moving next? I want to buy some real estate.
Well, what's a more cocktail dead zone than the 15th? 14th. I guess that's where I have to move next.
Or 13th.
13th. That I'd actually think that would be more interesting, right? To get like a really cool cocktail scene going on the 13th.
Yeah. I'm there.
So you know what I'm going to do? You've actually like challenge accepted, even though you didn't really challenge me. I'm going to like just start trying to find really good bars in the 13th and in the 14th.
Cool. I did a guide to Paris on my section on 13th and 14th. It's very bare because there's not much happening. And I just remembered, I think, didn't you and I do a podcast episode about the best bar in every area?
We did. That's the first time we ever did a podcast together.
That was the first one.
Yeah,
and then we did Speakeasy.
We did Speakeasy after, so I think I did it like really in your first season.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So guess what, by the way?
What?
I finally went to the Hotel St. James.
Oh, did you love it?
I loved it. And they've renovated, or do you say renovated, restored? I don't know. They've totally changed a lot in there. And I went to that library bar. The
library bar is so cool.
Good.
I was actually looking at some lists of, because I do just like do regular inner search on, Dr. Google or Professor Google like everybody does. And I was just kind of looking to see what people are listing out as hidden bars. And that library bar was on a hidden bar list. I'm like, it's not really that hidden.
Not very hidden.
I wouldn't bring that to the table.
Though to be fair, you wouldn't stumble.
You wouldn't. And they also often say that it's a private members hotel and space. So in there. So I do think that maybe they say that, but I've never nobody's ever stopped me from walking in and going to either the library bar or the garden bar.
Well, they said something when we checked it online that it was like, make sure you don't come at this certain time.
Member hours or whatever.
I don't know if it was legit, but it was cool. But it's not like on the street. You have to walk.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. Like
beautiful,
I think it's on the location of an old airstrip. So I guess there's some history there.
Hot air balloons.
Exactly. And so are they always there? Because I've been there when they've got actually hot air balloons as decor in the backyard, but it was a Hendrix event, so they probably brought in their own hot air balloons.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's super cool, and it's like one of the few like Hotel Particulier that I know you're looking at your time that's in Paris. Okay, we won't talk about things that aren't on our list.
I know. This is an interesting conversation. Anyone listening, I'm sure, anyone who's here wanting to hear about cocktails is happy that we're still talking.
Yeah, you should actually just go check out this space because there's a great space in the summer in the garden with these glass greenhouse things, and then this library bar, which I think is beautiful for
But thanks for the tip. It took me 4 years to get there, but I went there. It's great. But let's finish on this place that you haven't been to.
Yeah, so
that
I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
It's a place that just opened last October, November. So I was trying to get to it before I came and saw you, but it's just been a crazy couple of weeks.
Sure.
But it's called Sputnik, and it's a bar. It's a bar that's hidden underneath a restaurant that I also don't know, but it's called the Dacha restaurant.
Okay.
So it's in the third, and it's on
These are Russian words.
I know.
What was the second word? Dacha.
Dacha.
That's
and
like a
it's
country
a Russian
house.
cosmonaut themed
There you
bar.
go, yeah.
So it's all about the space race, etc. I can't tell you what the drinks are like or anything else because I haven't been there, but it's the next one I'm going to check out, and I can't.
Guessing vodka.
I think that would be a good guess. But it's on Rue Gravelier and the third. So when you said that, I was like, oh, I think that must be the one. But then I was like, nope, no wardrobe there. I think it is. You kind of just have to go downstairs where you wouldn't think about going.
So the two that we were the most vague about are on the same street.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a bit of exploration.
So everybody go to that street and just start going into random places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you find something else that's not Russian themed or in a wardrobe, please write it
Push
and tell
on
us.
every wall, pick up every telephone, get your hair cut and then walk out the back. You never know.
I can't wait to read this article about Parisians are afflicted with this thing in the third
Forrest
where they're
told me
touching
so.
everything. Yeah. Okay.
Let's finish up on how people can get more out of your world. Forrest, do you have a podcast?
I do. I have a podcast. It's called Paris Cocktail Talk, and I have a site. It's called 52 Martinis. I talk about Paris cocktail bars. I do talk about other places too when I travel. I like to do an out-of-office feature where I tell you where to drink when you're traveling around the world sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I also just review French products from France, spirits and things. So yeah, that's a real like French look basically at cocktails and bars. And I have an Instagram account, and I have a 52 Martinis is where you find me pretty much anywhere on social media.
52 Martinis.
Exactly.
Don't be writing out 52.
Yep.
52 Martinis.
I have an iOS app that is a guide to Paris cocktail bars, and not even all these bars are in there yet, so I'll be updating it soon. But
see, Eiffel Tower listeners, we got the scoop.
You do. You
Forrest
scooped
Collins.
me. You have scooped me.
That's my job.
Good job.
I call you the cocktail queen of Paris.
I would say that's a good description.
I like it. Okay, good. And I know I say this every time, but if we don't do the pub crawl, at least we got to go to this Buddha bar.
We really need to. I would
Let's
love to get out and have a drink and catch up with you when it's not recorded and tell you some other secrets about Paris
And what we'll
bars.
do is we'll both take our Instagram followers with us.
Oh, that would be very fun. I'd like that, yeah.
And for you guys who tuned out when we were talking about the Buddha bar, the Instagram is part of the story really there.
Yes,
But
exactly.
we've said too much. Forrest, thank you for being in the studio with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And there you have it, a bit of a longer episode, so I'll keep it short right now. That was Forrest Collins' 52 Martinis. I'm going to go and check out some of the bars to celebrate these 5 years of podcasting. If you've been listening for 2 episodes out of these past 300 or so, or whether you listen to them all, I want to say thank you so much for being part of this show. I could never have gone this far without you. And if you want to see it continue to grow, continue to thrive, and to get more staff on board, which is my next plan of attack, become a Patreon supporter. Patreon, patreon.com/The Eiffel Tower, where for as little as $10 a month, that's less than a cocktail in Paris, you get access to all kinds of bonus features, and you help this thing to keep on going. That'll do it for me. Thanks very much for listening. Merci beaucoup, and au revoir.